Okay, so today's video is about the UK, but it's really addressed to my American audience, who frankly I think are just a little bit jealous.
Churchill, the Beatles, Sean Connery, Harry Potter.
Because while you're all over there dreaming about making America great again, or not, we're over here living the dream. The clue is in the name, Great Britain.
Great.
See our age-old institutions and castles and stuff, like Windsor. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar is right. Where's your Windsor Castle, America? Medieval times. And what say you, Americans, of the jewel in our crown of all of our bountiful public services? The NHS.
We are seeing a rise in transphobia in the workplace. I've had to deal with a situation of somebody in influence in our trust with very strong gender critical activism views who's ended up in a position where they're able to be in meetings, and we've had to deal with that. I did of posting some really unacceptable what I would regard as anti-trans, but they would say gender critical rules, and we're in a weird space with the law on this now with protected belief, which I don't think trusts really understand what that means.
That lady's right. No one is left behind in Great Britain, not even the transient beings. Whereas in the US, you get a common cold and what options do you have? Die in a ditch or head down to some Venezuelan drug den to get your hands on the American panacea, fentanyl. And when you're not having to deal with Tren de Aragua thugs, you've got to spend the rest of your time trying to avoid getting George Floyded by your authorities, don't you? Not in the UK. We're a peaceful people.
Should we just... Guys, it's
Yeah, laugh it up, Americans. I'm sure you think policing should look like a couple of drunk teenagers furiously thrashing at a time crisis cabinet in an arcade. But we take a more pragmatic approach in the UK to policing our streets, you know. We've learned that if you just kind of leave them alone, they'll self-limit, the petty criminals, you know, like a reindeer population. They overgraze and the population stays within a certain limit. Eventually, the petty criminals will stab each other to death, which is far more time and cost effective, actually, than sending our gunless police out there to truncheon them to death. And what about our Prime Minister, by the way? You think you've got a tough guy in Donald Trump running the US? Well, I raise you, Sir Keir.
Immediate ceasefire in Gaza. The return of the sausages. The hostages.
He ain't playing around. Sir Keir gets what Sir Keir wants. Our very own Man of Steel, Sir Keir Starmer, like Stalin, right? I just worry that Britain is going to descend into a cult of personality like the Soviet Union did. Start naming towns after Starmer and stuff. Oh no, it's too late. Nah, but not to worry. We've got plenty of checks and balances here in the UK. Not like America with your two-party system. We've got Labour, Conservatives, the Liberal Democrats.
Killing me. Woo! Woo! Oh.
Well, if you thought that was great, you're not going to believe what I've got in store for you today in today's video. Great Britain just got greater.
Who's Daniel Boland? Oh, Daniel Boland, this is a heavy hitter. Do you guys know who this is?
Can you just explain what is the problem that the Sentencing Council was trying to fix?
Okay, so very simple situation. In the UK, undisputed fact, everyone agrees on this. Ethnic minorities spend longer in prison. There's more ethnic minorities in prison proportionally, and we spend longer in prison than white people.
What? Ethnic minorities go to prison at disproportionately higher rates than white people in the UK.
I'll alert the media.
This is an outrage. I demand a think tank be set up, or what do we call them? A quango. Set up several quangos, because we've got to get to the bottom of this. I need answers. Why? Give me one good reason why non-white people are going to prison at higher rates and staying there for longer than white people in the UK. I can't think of one.
And so the question was, how do we fix this system?
For the same offence.
So I'll get to that.
Okay.
So,
The stuffy old journalists always wanting the details. For the same offences. Shh! He'll get to that. All right.
So everyone wants to get that number down. They think that's a problem. And one of the ways in which people thought that they could possibly solve the problem was by considering the lives of ethnic minorities before they sentenced them. And by doing so, maybe then they'd reduce the sentences. And this made everyone, well, not everyone, made some people really angry, because they said this creates a two-tier justice system in the UK. And I find such language utterly ridiculous. I find it to be a completely silly thing to say.
Oh, Mr. Keir thinks that's silly, that some people are saying we have a two-tier justice system in the UK now. Well, let me explain, Keir, why some people may feel that way. Basically, what you're describing there are pre-sentencing reports, which are kind of a standard thing in the UK, I guess, in most places, right? Whereby a judge finds a guy, a defendant, guilty of a crime, and before he delivers his sentence, the defence team might say, "Hey, judge, listen, there's a reason he battered that old lady to death. Look at him. He's a product of his circumstances." And they put a report together showing the mitigating factors in the actions of their crazed lunatic client, right? I think we all understand in 2025 that that's okay, right? You've got to defend the guy. There may be mitigating circumstances. Of course, we are a product of our surroundings, of our upbringing to some extent. I think what people might be taking issue with is that now one of the mitigating circumstances is the colour of your skin. Under these new proposals, everyone except white men in the UK would have an ace up their sleeve when a judge finds them guilty, and they'd be able to say, "Wait, I'm a woman. Wait, I'm a pregnant woman." Double trumps. Your Honour, can't you see my client is black? He couldn't help it. I don't know who that's more racist towards. Who should feel more offended? I swear, it is always the way of any... the outcome of any inquiry is always the cart before the horse, right? They notice there's a problem. They're like, well, this particular collective aren't doing very well there. What should we do to resolve this situation? I know. We'll punish another collective. Let them go to jail for longer.
That such legislation would create a two-tier justice system because, as you were alluding to, there's already a two-tier justice system in the UK, and that is the problem. It's not just that ethnic minorities are imprisoned for longer, it's that everyone who has ever studied this in any serious quantitative ways knows that ethnic minorities spend longer in prison for the same crime.
Oh, our Keir here. I'm not sure he's as stupid as he sounds, right? Because I noticed that he said anyone who's ever studied this in any quantitative way has noticed that there's this correlation, right? And he's right. Yes, non-white people are overrepresented in our prisons in the UK, and they do get longer sentences, perhaps for similar crimes or even the same crimes, but he's not going into the qualitative data, is he? He's not looking at the pre-sentencing reports. He's not looking at the criminal records of those convicts. He's just seeing crime, sentence. Oh, look, there's more there than there are there. Therefore, that's it. There's nothing else to look at. You sneaky little bitch, I'm onto you.
It was Theresa May that wanted to have an investigation into this and got David Lammy to look at it.
David Lammy did look into it. Yeah. I think the Lammy report was very interesting. And
the David Lammy report was interesting. But can we stop pretending that politicians are doing any of these reports that they compile, right? Do you honestly expect me to believe that this tub of shit was sneaking around all the offices like Jack Nicholson in Chinatown, compiling evidence of the two-tier justice system? Fuck off, all right? Don't insult my intelligence.
It said that the people spend longer in prison and these cannot be explained by other things.
Oh, well, there you go then. I want to make a remake of Chinatown, a British version, and it'll star David Lammy. And he's, just wandering around the bridges going over the Thames in London, shuffling his feet like a fat prick. I can't explain it. there's just loads of black people in prison. Must be racism. Well, that'd make a great film.
But there is research, I've done it myself, in which you just take the same crime and you swap out the name, so you make it sound like a white person did it or an ethnic minority did it. Yeah. And when you do that and you present the crimes to people in the UK, they perceive the ethnic minority as worse, as guiltier, as more dangerous, and they want to put them in prison for longer.
Yeah, I'm sure you really did that research, Keon. Yeah, you and David Lammy doing reports, snooping around London's Chinatown and sewers, asking the stoned vagrants what they think about a guy called Mohammed and a guy called David doing the same crime, and noticing that these absolute degenerates seem to get more riled up when they heard a Muslim name or something. What the fuck? This never happened, but let's give you the benefit of the doubt and pretend that it did. They are not judges. A judge sentences criminals. They, we guess, know what they're doing. No? They've been to law school and they've become judges and they've got experience, and they don't need to be told by a quango to let black people go because, you know, they've had it hard. I think that's mental. And nothing you say, Keon, or your fat mate, will ever change my mind on that.
Yeah. And this translates into longer prison sentences.
But then in trying to deal with it, you have a list of characteristics which qualify for a pre-sentencing report, including being an ethnic minority, which raises the question, why would you not get it if you weren't an ethnic minority? And that's what this trial's about.
I think we should take a step back. So
you're challenging me on the details again. Let's take a step back. How about no, Keon? Eh? How about you actually answer the question?
So the first thing is, what do we do with the two-tier system we already have?
But we don't already have one, do we, Keon? Because there are no laws currently that say the colour of your skin will determine the length of your sentence. That's what you guys would like. Why don't you shut the fuck up?
And there are a couple of options on the table. Option one, we ignore it. We leave it as it is and do nothing.
Oh, well, that works for me. Great. I guess
now,
that's
I
all
hate
we
that
got.
option because that just leads to
still,
more discrimination in the justice
prattling
system,
on.
so that's bad. Now, I hate that option because that just leads to more discrimination in the justice system, so that's bad. So the suggestion now on the table is, now if you're going to sentence an ethnic minority, you should read a bit about their background first.
Just because, right? I mean, either you make it obligatory for all judges in all cases to read a pre-sentencing report. Otherwise, that's racism. It is. It really is.
Sir Keir Starmer and Shabana Mahmood, who is a Justice Secretary, and saying, I'm afraid to say, these are what's going to happen. And from Tuesday, this is what will happen. Judges will prepare pre-sentencing reports where necessary. And if someone is of ethnic, cultural or faith minority, or a young person under 25, or a woman or a pregnant woman, they will get a special sentencing report. Normally, those pre-sentencing reports do mean that the sentence is mitigated, that time is taken off for a jail term, for example. What it means, though, is that white men are going to be treated a lot tougher by judges from Tuesday compared to other groups in society.
Well, better make sure we're on our best behaviour, eh, guys? Look, I guess what we've learned today is the UK has its flaws, yes.
6 police officers came to my house and arrested me. Why? Because I'd been talking about my daughter's school on a WhatsApp group. Another 2 police officers were arresting my partner, Rosalind, in front of Francesca, our 3-year-old daughter. They bundled us into the police cars and took us off to custody at Stevenage Police Station, where we remained for the next 12 hours. He arrested me on suspicion of harassment and malicious communications. And it was to do with a dispute with our daughter's primary school, which began with posts on a WhatsApp group. 5 days later, the police turned up. When we were finally interviewed, the detective, who'd had no previous involvement with the case, he turned out not to have any evidence of those alleged crimes. It was Kafkaesque. Eventually, we got a call from the detective in charge of the case. He said to Rosalind, "We're taking it no further. I have found no evidence for these offences." And that was it. It was over. And even now, we still don't know what we're meant to have said or done which was so terrible or justified sending 6 police officers to our house.
So the UK has gone a little bit Kafkaesque, all right? Is that such a bad thing, really? If anything, as a white man, you'd be better off waking up as a beetle of some kind tomorrow, I guess. Anyway, I guess that's all we've got time for tonight in tonight's video. If you've enjoyed the video, put a like on it. Don't say that. Give the video a like and let the algorithm, let the universe know what a lovely time you've had. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. What have you been doing for the last quarter of an hour? And what else? Oh yeah, follow me on all my social media down under this video, the X, the Instagram, all that, so that you know when I've put a new video up. And if you want to help out with the channel even further, you can join my Patreon. The link's in the description. Cue the outro. I'll see you in the next one.